As we come to our fourth session together, the tone changes, the pace changes, the setting changes. For our first three, we've been in Jerusalem, largely in the upper room. And we've heard those powerful words, I've seen the Lord, receive the Holy Spirit, my Lord and my God. Those are very much Easter Day or the following week. Those are the immediacy of the resurrection. We're now moving to Galilee, or as John 21 calls it, the Sea of Tiberias. It's the same lake. And Jesus' appearance is there. And there's a different mood, a different feel. It's a little bit more relaxed. It's not so tense. They've seen him, they've met him. But this is different. We're back in the open air. We're back in the bulk of the gospel stories where Jesus is ministering around the coastline of the Sea of Galilee or Tiberias or Gennesaret or whichever of the Bible titles we give it. So here we are in John chapter 21, verses 1 to 6. After these things, Jesus showed himself again to the disciples by the Sea of Tiberias, and he showed himself in this way. Gathered there together were Simon Peter, Thomas called the twin, Nathanael of Cana in Galilee, the sons of Zebedee, and two others of his disciples. Simon Peter said to them, I'm going fishing. They said to him, we will go with you. They went out and got into the boat, but that night they caught nothing. Just after daybreak, Jesus stood on the beach. But the disciples did not know that it was Jesus. Jesus said to them, children, you have no fish, have you? They answered him, no. He said to them, cast the net to the right side of the boat, and you will find some. So they cast it, and now they were not able to haul it in because there were so many fish. This is different, isn't it? Jesus isn't talking about his resurrection. He's resuming contact with his disciples, back in the place where they're most comfortable, back in their home patch, back on their accustomed activity of fishing, even though he's told them that they're to become fishers of people, not just catchers of fish. They've gone back to what they know, to the boats and the nets, but not very successfully. And Jesus stands on the shore and addresses them as children. Obviously, it's a word of endearment, a word of love. But his relationship to them has changed, hasn't it? He now is their Lord and their God. They haven't realized it's him yet. They're doing their own thing. They're doing what they know best. And actually, it doesn't work out that well. They're not all that good at it until Jesus tells them to do it differently. Cast the net on the right side of the boat. And of course, it's a picture. They're overwhelmed with the huge catch of fish. It's a picture of what they're to be and what they're to do, and how they're called and how we're called to go out and catch people for Jesus, to cast the net. That's our challenge, that's our theme for this session. Cast the net. Reach people. To use a different picture, go for the harvest. Go out into the harvest field. This is the fisherman's harvest field, the sea. The meaning's the same, isn't it? Go and be fruitful. Go and bring people in to the kingdom. Bring them into the love of God. Bring them into the experience and reality of salvation. Cast the net. And when they cast the net with Jesus' authority, with Jesus' blessing, in the way that Jesus tells them to, even though it isn't necessarily the way they'd have done it, when they cast the net as they're told to, when they cast the net under authority rather than under their own steam, then the result is oh so very different. We are called to be casting the net for Jesus. You may think your ministry is just about pastoral care, or just about preaching and teaching the faithful, or just about caring for the needy in the world. But actually, the New Testament teaches very clearly that whatever we think and see our ministry as being, we're also to do the work of an evangelist, to cast the net, to take opportunities or make opportunities to reach people for Jesus and bring them in to him and for him. And we're told to cast the net under his authority, not under our own steam. That needs thinking through. It needs working out. It needs discussion. It needs prayer. But it needs obedience. And so the challenge to you, and it's hard work both ways, because it's the challenge to me as well, even after so many years of ordained ministry already, in my case, it's still a very clear challenge to obedience, not just to be a pastor, a teacher, a leader in my case, but to cast the net, to continue to do the work of an evangelist. That's part of what you're being called to. It's part of what you're being ordained and commissioned for. When you hear those words of the risen Lord, as he calls you his children and tells you to stop dealing with things that aren't priorities, stop trying to do it in your own way and your own strength, and says to you very clearly, and can you hear those words to you? Cast the net.